To solve this problem, valid parenthesis. So just go to the problem statement. So we have three kind of braces: opening and closes, curly, and square brackets, and then simple one. So what today does, we have to just return true and false based on the valid parenthesis. So let's take an example when we have something. This one is also valid. Then this one also valid. But let's take an example when we do this. This is not valid. In the same way, this we have an opening bracket but not a closed one. Then this is also not valid. In the same way, when we take this one, we have a closing as well as opening bracket, but they are not in order. So means we have to actually use something like queue or stack kind of thing to maintain the order as well. So here in the same way, if you see an example, so this one is a valid case. In the same way, this one is also valid. So if we use a stack kind of thing and pop element, then this would become like this. In the same way, when we pop the similar brackets, then this would become this. Okay, so we can utilize a stack kind of thing. So let's just go with the solution. So now let's take an example of a simple opening and closing brackets here. Okay, so now when we get the opening bracket, we have to push it here. Okay, and if we get the closing bracket, so we have to pop it. That is it, simpler as that. Okay, so we have to iterate through the braces, and based on that we have to push and pop element. So now let's try pseudocode for this. We have to iterate through it, and then we can push an element if it's an opening bracket. So opening brackets, we have to actually, we have three kinds of brackets. Okay, this. Okay, so when we have an open brackets, either of this, like if bracket string array ith element includes, means if it's any of them, okay, then we have to push it into the stack. Okay, stack dot push kind of thing we can use, and then push it, simpler as that. Okay, okay, now let's take here also as well. So initially we push this one in the same way, but this code do it also push another element. So the stack would look like something like this. Okay, now we have to put an else case, and in the else case we have to pop it, right? So now popped one element would be stack dot pop, and now we have to check if the pop element matches with their uh, close with their brackets. So if it's like curly brackets, then we have to look for the curly bracket, right? So now our index is 2 here, right? Index is 2, so we pop it here using this command. Now this element has been removed now. Okay, this one we remove. Okay, now we have to check if it's curly, if it's matched with curly brackets or not. Okay, for this what we can do, either to write, either we can go if popped element, if popped element is equals to this, and ith element is equals to this, then don't do something. Okay, else we have to simply return here. We can also write in this way: popped element is equal to, and in popped element is equal to this, and ith element not equals to this, then simply return a false here. Okay, so here it's a valid case, but let's take an example. If we remove something like this, then from here the statement would return a false. Okay, and out of the loop we can simply return a true. Okay, now let's take this to the next level and add some more elements like this. Add one array as well. Okay, now If we move to the third element, our array would look something like this. We have a element here. Here we have an array. When we popped it, we have to add more commands here as well for each bracket cases, like popped element equals to this or this, something like. So let me just popped element is equals to this, this element is not equals to uh, this. In the same way, we have to write the same case for simple bracket as well. Hopefully you get this. Then we have to simply return false, else return true. So now let's try the pseudocode and try run this on each case. Hopefully this work fine. Now let's take an example. If we have a statement like this, so initially what it does, it's not going to push anything. It does not come here. It directly goes here, stack.pop, and now it's check this. It will return a false. Okay, and in the next step, okay, this will work fine as well. But now let's run with this case. Simple. So initially it will push an array, but it does not goes in the else case because we just have a single iteration, right? So here it return uh, true, but the expected result would be needs to be false. Okay, so what we can do, we can return from here stack.length must be 0. So let's try this. Hopefully this work fine. So let's take an example of a let stack is equals to empty, and we have to iterate through each element. I'm using off here, but you can do anything. B for brackets of s each string, and then okay, we can also, for simplicity, we can create a map checked as well. We are doing the same kind of thing. Either we can do either we can write this the cases like this. If it's like this, then push it, then pop it. Or for simpler cases, I think it's a better approach to go with this. Create a map. Okay, so I have write all the cases like this. So we can check uh, if bracket is not in the map array, this means this is an opening bracket. Okay, opening bracket, bracket case should be if mapped. If it's not available here, this means this is an opening case, open bracket case. So we can simply push it into stack dot push up brackets. And in the else case, we can pop the element stack dot pop, check it if it's if popped element not equals to uh, if popped element is not equals to map array bracket, then it should return simply a false. And in the end, we can okay, where is the bracket? In the end, we can simply return stack dot length must be empty. Okay, let's give it a try. Okay, all cases are working fine. Let's submit it. Okay, so let me just walk you through the code again. So we can just create a map over there for opening brackets. If it's not a key, so this is a key and this is the value. Okay, so I'm checking if it's not the opening bracket. If it's an open bracket, then simply push it into the stack, else pop it and check if the popped element is equals to this one. So when we pop, let's take an example. I have pushed this here, and during pop I get this one. So I have to just map it using this my current value. This is my current bracket equals to this. I have to simply check it if it's matched with this one. So we can utilize a map array bracket value. So I have checked if if this value is equals to this one. Okay, this one. If it's this key's value matches with this key value, then if the popped element this one is not equals to this one, so we can do it. So we can return a false. Okay, hopefully you get this point.